Welcome to the Parenting Roundabout podcast for the week of August 17th, 2020. Every week we chat about the things parents are talking about, complaining about, and obsessing about right now. I'm Nicole Eridix, and I'm here with Terry Morrow.
Hello.
And Catherine Haleko.
Hello.
This week we are complaining about hygiene missteps and obsessing about sleepovers. We're also taking a couple of breaks for an entertainment discussion and a recommendation roundup. Today, we are talking about school rules for virtual learning. And I'm starting to see a lot more of this as as the new school year starts up.
Yeah.
And one article that caught my eye was a district in Springfield, Illinois, made news last week by announcing that their students could not wear pajamas for their online classes. And I was looking on my own area's school district website last night, and one of their quote unquote rules is that students still have to follow dress code while they're in online learning. And I don't know how I feel about that. I just don't even know where to begin with that. I mean, I suppose like if you have a professional job, or if you're in a job and you're working from home. I mean, I know with my husband, he still has meetings and still has things that he has to, be face to face with on a screen. He has to interact. And so he has a dress shirt hanging in his office that he just throws on. Maybe I shouldn't give away his secrets, but I'm pretty
There
sure
was a whole
he's not the
article
only
in the New York Times about Zoom shirts.
Yes.
So he's not alone.
And so I guess with school that might translate into something similar, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about telling kids what to wear when they go to online school. Thoughts? It just doesn't sit right with me, and I don't know why. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I have absolutely no horse in this race because my kids aren't going to school anymore. So I can just say what I think and not have it actually have anything to do with anybody in my household. But I mean, first, it matters whether are they going to be seen or not. Is this going to be a Zoom style classroom situation, or is this going to be pick up your work, do it, turn it in situation? In the former, you gotta have some sort of restrictions. You don't want guys sitting down in their pajama bottoms and no top for class. You don't want girls wearing something skimpy for class when they're going to be on a camera. You don't want people wearing inappropriate, sayings on shirts or whatever they put in the dress code. I don't think if you're going to be seen, I don't think it's wrong to have a dress code. I think it's difficult to enforce, but I don't think it's necessarily wrong. And all of these rules get made because somebody broke them and they need to have something written down so that they can do something about it. In terms of if you're just working at home on your own time and turning things in, I still think that the formality of having to get dressed for the activity makes it more serious and makes it more likely to focus. It's not true for every kid. I'd have been able to focus when I was in high school on my classes, on my work. No matter what I was wearing, it wouldn't have mattered. But for some who need routine, to say, get up, have breakfast, put some clothes on, sit down at the computer and do your work is going to be a necessary step. You know what I mean? If you're saying, roll out of bed in your PJs, do a little bit of work, hang out with your friends on video games and do a little work, and you just kind of piddle it all through the day, it's not going to be done as well or as consistently. It's going to be really hard for some kids to focus given that. So I don't necessarily think it's wrong to say, dress as you would for school. It's kind of a mark of respect for the work and for the activity. And maybe we'll provide some structure because it's going to be extremely hard to keep kids focused on school at all.
Well, which is why I really don't think this needs to be a huge priority. Like, I feel like the very fact that kids are overcoming some of the challenges to just getting online, I think that's the priority. And I understand, I mean, for some kids, yeah, they do need that routine, and that's something that, I don't know if the school would, I don't know if the structure of school would reinforce that or not, or that has to come from their own, circle of people. But, yes, they have to be appropriate. And yes, there has to be a certain level of respect for others.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to be on a Zoom classroom, if you have pajama pants on, there's no reason anybody has to know that. As long as you're not putting your feet up next to the computer, which some kids are going to do. So if you're just smart, you could sit there in your underwear and nobody's going to know it. But gosh, kids are going to be stupid, right? Kids are going to be stupid. And so there has to be some rule on the books so that when kids are stupid, you can tell them to cut it out.
See, this one, in this article, it says that kids are not allowed to wear pajamas while doing classes online at home. Okay, well, really, a pajama top? Like, does anybody...
Well, all different types of pajama tops.
Yeah, but what's the difference between a t-shirt that came with pajama bottoms and a t-shirt that didn't?
Well, but again, I would say there's all different types. If it's a t-shirt that you would wear otherwise and you use it as a pajama top, then nobody's going to know it's a pajama top. But, if it's like something very tiny or, I would just say there's all kinds of, I would say that nobody's going to enforce this if it's reasonable. It's only going to get enforced if it's clearly, stupidly pushing a line.
Right.
Right. But to Nicole's point, it's just like the teachers, the administrators, and the parents have so much else to worry about.
Honestly.
Can we really, do we have to make this a thing?
Yeah. Surely there's the amount of kids that are going to get on Zoom and dress inappropriately is not, it's not like your whole student body is going to do that. So,
but if you have one kid who does it and you say, don't do that, and that kid and that kid's parents say, there's no rule that says I can't, here, I'm going to, wear less tomorrow. What can you do? You have to have something written. I don't think the school administrators are going to come to each door and knock on, say, show me what you're wearing to school. I think these rules have to exist so that if somebody pushes it, they have some standing on which to say, cut it out. No? I don't know. Because otherwise, I don't think it's enforceable. If somebody's not doing something egregious, nobody's going to know. So it's not enforceable. It's just, look, you're still going to school. Please treat your schoolwork with the same respect as you would if you were in the classroom. Which seems not unreasonable. But as long as I think if they're sending people out to knock on the door and say, show us your child, what are they wearing? They're wearing pajamas, they get a black mark. Then yes, that's a huge overreaction and a misappropriation of efforts. But if it's just, hey folks, this is still school. Please treat it that way. That seems reasonable. And it also gives them some backup if somebody does something stupid, which absolutely 100% somebody will do something stupid.
But why do they need to make it a thing? Why isn't it just, it's part of school. It's what's always been. Why do we need to specifically make this a thing when, I shouldn't say most, but many schools are having trouble getting their kids online to begin with.
Right.
So why? I think this is just, this is just probably something that somebody picked up and pulled out of their.
You know why these things have to be done? To give people on the web something to write about, to give podcasters something to talk about. Thank you, administrators. Please make more draconian rules that we can discuss.
Yes. I'm just wondering how much of this is just something that somebody saw and thought, this is,
I have a deadline. Excellent.
But in all fairness, though, as I mentioned earlier, I was on our school district website, our local school district website, and that was one of the rules that you have to dress appropriately. But I get there's efforts to control certain types of, clothing that might symbolize you belong to a certain group of people. So that, there's certain things that you can't wear on campus because of that. Like gangs and such. But yeah, I don't know. It's fraught with issues.
Yeah, it really is.
I don't know. My guess would just be that they have to have something written down. So if somebody does something we all would agree is inappropriate, they can do something about it. I think if they don't have something written down, then they can't do anything without a big fuss. I don't know. It doesn't bother me, but then I don't have kids it's going to apply to, so.
I don't know. Do you have any more thoughts, Catherine? I mean, you're kind of in the midst of it in some sense.
Yeah, I mean, we are choosing in-person learning for my kid this year because for as long as that lasts, because the online did not go well for him last time. But yeah, I mean, I think sort of what Terry was saying, like if someone can see you, then yeah, you shouldn't be wearing like no shirt or an inappropriate shirt or whatever. Right. But if nobody can see you, then I think you just have to do what works for you. And if your kid works best in their pajamas, then let's please let them wear their pajamas.
Seriously.
I mean,
some kids will wear pajama bottoms to school. So like, let's get real here. Right. I mean,
my guess would be that the rules are not really for them, that it's for people who will.
It's for people who might litigate.
I don't know. The things that I wear as pajamas would not necessarily be something I would want to sit in a Zoom chat wearing, though I do sometimes work in them. Yeah.
I mean, I usually have pajamas on until 11, 12 o'clock. I get, since I don't have to be anywhere, I get up, I eat breakfast, I start working, and then later I change. So
yeah, I do the same. I start working in bed, and then I at some point get up and take a shower. But not everybody can work that way. I would not say my kids would have been able to work that way. For my kids, it would be very helpful to eat breakfast, get dressed, come sit at the dining room table, and let's do your work. So I think that in the room with lots of distractions and, I'm in my pajamas, let me just lay down and go back to sleep, it would be a problem.
For my son doesn't even wear pajamas. He wears clothes to bed. So, like, it doesn't make a difference to him.
I don't know. I just feel like, why make it an issue until it becomes an issue? So,
because once it becomes an issue, if you don't have I think that if you don't have something written down and it becomes an issue, then there's nothing you can do about it to some degree. But I would not want to be a school administrator right now for any amount of money in the world. You could back a Brinks truck up to my driveway and I would say, go away. There is no possible way. Because no matter what they do, they're going to get slammed. So I'm willing to extend them a little bit of grace here, but I can understand why people would think it was ridiculous. Yeah. Well, we're not going to tell you what we're wearing while we're podcasting right now. Fortunately, I don't believe there's no
dress code.
There's no dress code for podcasters. Let's all say a little video. And that's it for today's round 1. Tune in tomorrow for our entertainment-themed round 2, and later in the week to find out what we're complaining about, obsessing about, and recommending right now. We're always interested in what you have to say, so drop us a comment on our website, our Facebook page, or Twitter, where you'll find us at Roundabout Chat.